What's going on, y'all? All right, so I'm just gonna mark up my charts. I want to get this out the way. That way, I don't have to worry about this week. So I'm going ahead and mark up all of my charts and get it out the way. But before I dive into these charts, if you guys want something automated when it comes to trading futures, and let me double check and see if I'm actually live here. Give me 1 second. Just want to make sure. Want to make sure I'm live, and I want to also make sure that you guys can hear me. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see what I need to probably do. This is what I probably need to do. Okay. I think I'm live. Sure that you guys can hear me. All right, cool. Y'all can hear me. All right. Yeah. Sign into the chat. Well, I can probably see the chat. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right, cool. I just want to be able to see the chat just in case y'all got any questions. All right, cool. So yeah, before I dive into the charts, if you guys want something automated when it comes to trading futures, I have a automated trading bot for futures. And it will literally get in the trades for you. It will get out of the trades for you. It will put this, your TP and your stop loss for you, your risk to reward with it. It does everything. So like when it comes to me, setting this trading bot up for your account, everything is automated. All right, everything is automated. You don't got to do anything. You don't even got to know how to trade. It's really simple to set up. It's not that hard, and futures is really easy to trade. There's no manipulation or anything like that when it comes to commissions and fees and stuff like that, like Forex. But everything is automated. So if you guys want access to this, it's a one-time fee of $500, and then that's basically I'm just charging you guys a one-time fee of $500 to pass, and then it's $150 per month to run on your account every single month on your live funded account. So it's $500 one time, and then $150 per month to run on your live funding account, because this trading bot can pass your challenge, and it can be run on a live funding account. All right. The one of the some of the platforms that I use when it comes to using this trading bot is Top Step, Apex, and My Funded Futures. I mean, you can use others, but those are the top three futures platforms that I use. And yeah, but yeah, if you guys want access to that, no. You will also be able to hop on my live trading sessions when it comes to being a member. But we're about to go ahead and mark up these charts. I'm gonna get these charts out the way. That way we can be prepared for this upcoming week. I like to mark up my charts either on Saturday and Sundays. That way I don't have to mark up my charts when the week started. Just want to get it out the way. That way we could be prepared and we could be good to go. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and check out. And also, when it comes to when it comes to me trading futures, I like to trade the currencies, like the euro, the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, the Swiss, the Britain pound, the Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar. I also trade gold, silver, and then sometimes ES and NQ. Okay, so let's do this real quick. All right, cool. Give me 1 more second, y'all. I just want to check something else out real quick. All right, cool. Just wanted to check something else out. If y'all can hear me, if you're watching this, if you can hear me, just comment below and let me know if you guys can hear me clear. I just want to make sure you guys on your end can hear me. All right, so let's do this. So yeah, I like to when it comes to marking up my charts, I always like to start off on the weekly to see what type of trend we in right now. I'm in a downtrend. We're creating lower highs and lower lows on the weekly chart, and we are bearish. Okay, we are bearish. Let me clear some of this stuff off here. We are bearish when it comes to the weekly chart of the Euro futures. All right, 6E1 is the Euro futures. All right, if you're wondering, how to get Euro futures on your chart, but the weekly is bearish. And let me get this out the way. And by the way, let's see where we at. Oh yeah, I'm also trading binary options too. So if you trade binary options and you want to copy my trades when it comes to binary options, just reach out to me too. But I'm in this trade right now for FedEx, and we're winning this trade right now. But let's get back to what we are supposed to be doing here, marking up our charts. We are creating lower lows and lower highs, so we are bearish on the daily. And the 4-hour, we are, let me put this there, bearish as well. We're creating, lower highs and lower lows. We was creating higher highs, higher lows, low, high, and then we start going bearish. Okay, so all time frames is telling us that we should be selling Euro, but that can change. All right, but that's the first thing I like to do. I like to check the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour to figure out, what type of trend I'm in. All right. So now I want to mark up my previous weekly highs and lows. All right. So I want to draw my zones. All right. From the weekly high, the last week's weekly high, and last week weekly low. Okay. So I can see right now. This is Friday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, boom. So I can see that Monday was the lowest of the week of last week. So I'm going to draw my zone. I like to draw my zone from the wick to the body. Okay, wick to the body. That's going to be my zone. Sometimes I like to go one time frame down to the 4-hour to make the zone a little bit smaller. That way we don't have a too big of a zone. And then I go back to the daily. And then what I like to also do, I like to also draw my zone. Let me change the color to it. I already have a preset for it. So what I like to do is I like to drag it back in the past. That way I can kind of see, if price was rejecting this same zone in the past. Okay. So yeah, that's what I like to do. Okay, boom. Let me draw this and tighten this up a little bit. But I'm just gonna go ahead and speed through this real quick because I don't want to make this live too long. So I just want to hurry up and draw my zones. So I got my weekly low, and then now I need to find my weekly high. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it looked like Wednesday was the highest of the week of last week. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Draw my zone. See if I can make the zone a little bit smaller. And yes, we can. So I can make this smaller just a tad bit. Boom. Go back to the daily, and then draw this back in the past and see if this zone was respected back in the day. It was kind of respected. So, but we got our weekly highs, and now we got our weekly highs and previous weekly lows here. Okay. All right, and then I like to go to the 1-hour. Yeah, I'll go to the 1-hour. And since I'm trading U.S. dollar versus these currencies. I like to draw my U.S. session highs and lows. So, what was the highest of U.S. session, and what was the lowest of U.S. session? So, U.S. session low was here. Remember, I like to draw my zone from the wick to the body. Boom. Let me do it like that. Then I also have this color coded as well. I like to match the color of my candle. So, if you don't know, the reason why I got different colors, the reason why I have these candles colored differently, is because it lets me know what type of session I'm in. So the red candle means that I'm in the U.S. session. The green candle means that I'm in the London session. The yellow candle means that I'm in the Asian session. Okay. So I'm gonna draw my zone in the past and see, if it's being rejected in the past. We're seeing some rejection. Okay. So I'm gonna draw it there, and then I'm gonna draw the high. Now this is gonna be a big zone right here, so we're definitely gonna have to make this a little bit smaller because I do not like big zones like this. And yeah, so what we're gonna do, since this zone is too big, if the zone is too big and I can't make it a little bit smaller, I can't tighten it up, then I'll just go ahead and get my horizontal line, and I'll go ahead and just put it at the tip, at the top. There we go. Now I got my U.S. session highs and lows now. Okay, so boom, that's it. Now when price comes into these zones, all right, we can see some rejections. You can see some breaks and retests. You can see, you can trade off of these zones. So the reason why I draw these zones is because I can trade off of these zones. So if price comes, and it also depends on what type of trend you're in. Are you in an uptrend? Are you in a downtrend? Like, what type of trend are you in? So in order for me to determine what type of trend I'm in, I check the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour charts. Okay, so again, the weekly is bearish. We're creating lower highs and lower lows. Okay, I check the daily. We're creating lower highs and lower lows. All right, if we're creating lower highs and lower lows, that means we're in a downtrend. All right, if we're creating higher highs and higher lows, you're in an uptrend. So lower highs and lower lows mean that we are in a downtrend. So the weekly and the daily is telling me so far that we are in a downtrend. Okay, now I like to check the 4-hour, and again, we are in a downtrend. I can even move this to here, and then yeah, I can even move this to here. That's the last lower high right there. The weekly, let me see, low, high, or low. This candle right here didn't close below this, so this will be the low. Okay, so now whenever I go to the 5-minute, I like to execute my trades on the 5-minute chart. Okay, I like to execute my trades on the 5-minute chart. So since we're in a downtrend, this is what I like to see. Since we are in a downtrend, since the higher time frames are telling me that we should be selling, we're creating lower highs and lower lows. This is what I like to see. Let me go here. I want to see price come all the way up here. That's the first scenario. All right, or even price could even come up here to this previous weekly high. All right, and then come down. All right, that scenario. That scenario two. Scenario two. Okay. Let me tighten this up real quick. So scenario two will be something like this. Boom. That's scenario two. Hope you guys can see that. All right. Now scenario three, we could see something like this. Break, retest, and then continue down to the downtrend. That's another scenario right there. Okay, so we got one scenario here where you can break this previous U.S. session low zone, or price could come all the way up here to the previous U.S. session high, and then come down, and or price can come all the way up to the previous weekly high, and then reject off of that zone, and then boom, we could sell. So these are the areas that I'm looking to sell. All right, remember, the weekly is telling me that we should be selling. We're creating lower highs and lower lows. All right. The weekly is in a downtrend. All right. We're creating lower highs and lower lows. The daily, same thing. It's telling me we are in a downtrend. We're creating lower highs and lower lows. The 4 hour is telling me that we should be selling. So if the weekly and the daily and the 4 hour is telling me that I should be selling, then I shouldn't be buying. All right. Now, when it comes to my strategy now, I do have a new strategy that I'm using. The strategy, if you're gonna trade against the trend, only trade against it short term. All right, you don't want to trade against the trend for a long term, because we're in a downtrend. So you can possibly get in a short buy, but the main trend that you want to ride is the downtrend. All right, you want to look to sell off of these levels. Okay, now let me take these off here. Now, what I also like to do is I like to also, if I go to the 4 hour, let's see. I like to draw my fair value gaps, but I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm not gonna, like I said, I don't want to make these videos too long here. But yeah. So let's go to the next pair. All right. So we already marked this 6 East is the euro dollar futures. I trade a lot of the currencies when it comes to futures. So yeah, most you see a lot of people trade the the NQ, the YM, and stuff like that. US 30. I trade mostly the currencies when it comes to futures. Okay. But let me clear this chart up real quick. Yeah, let me clear this off, because I don't want this on the chart. So let me clear some of this stuff off here. Yeah, let me just go ahead and clear it off. That way I can have a clean chart. All right, so now the pair that we're on right now, we're on the New Zealand dollar. I'm going to start from the weekly to see what type of trend we in. And most of these futures pairs that I'm trading are going to be the same, because it's against the dollar, the US dollar. But we are in a downtrend. All right, we're creating lower highs and lower lows. All right, we're creating, if this is the lower high right here, and then this is the low right here. This is the lower low. Okay. So if we're in the weekly, I don't want that to show on the daily. So basically, I'm gonna just name this the lower high, and then this right here is the lower low. Okay. All right, now let me make sure the visibility is not on days. So now I got my weekly lower high and my weekly lower low. Okay, and then I go down to the daily. All right, go down to the daily and do the same thing. What type of trend we in. All right, so we was creating lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we created a higher high here. So we are basically wow, this candle closed right below this previous higher low, so we're technically bearish. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark up my I'm going to mark up this here as my lower high, and then I'm going to name this, yeah, my lower high. Boom. And then I'm going to mark up this level right here as my lower low. Okay, my lower low. Boom. All right, boom. Now I got my daily. Now I got my. We already did our weekly lower high and lower low. Now we have a daily lower high, lower low. That meaning that we're in a downtrend. Let's check out the 4 hour. See what type of trend we in on the 4 hour. We're creating higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. No, it's not higher low, but this is higher low, higher high. So we are in a bullish trend right now, because we was creating what, higher high, higher low, then a higher high. This candle didn't close above this, so technically we are in a bullish trend on the 4 hour. Okay, so what we'll do is, we'll do the same thing. All right, we'll draw the high here. Okay, some people, they count the wick as, you know, break a structure or whatever, but I like to look at the bodies. I like to see the close of the bodies. Okay, so we got a higher high there. Um, yeah, I don't want that on the daily chart. And then we'll just go ahead and get our basically our higher low. Higher low point is going to be here. All right, so higher low. Boom. All right, so now we got our higher high and we got a higher low here on the 4 hour. Okay, now I like to go back to the daily, and I like to draw my previous weekly highs and lows. All right, what was the previous weekly high and low? Okay, so the previous weekly low right now, I think it's Monday. Yeah, Monday was the previous weekly low. So I like to draw my zone from the body to the wick. Okay, and this zone is definitely going to be too big, so I like to tighten it up a little bit. So what I would do is I'll bring this down just a tad bit. That way I don't have a big zone on my chart. And then I like to drag this in the past. Let's see if this zone has been rejected in the past. What I'm doing here, I need to change the color. So that's going to be boom. All right, boom. So in the past, price definitely rejected the zone in the past. Okay. So now we got our weekly zone there. I don't know why my chart just crashed on me. Okay, let's go back to the daily. All right. Now I'm looking for my previous weekly high. Okay, so what was the high? All right, the high was on Wednesday, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw my zone from the body to the wick. The wick to the body, and then now we have our previous weekly zone, our previous weekly high zone. Boom. All right, let's see if it's been respected in the past. Let's see if it's been respected in the past. Not really. Let's see if this rejected in the past. Kind of seeing some rejection, but not that strong. All right, boom. Let's go back. So yeah, now I got my previous weekly high. All right. Then I go to the 1 hour to draw my session zones. I like to draw like my like either my U.S. session highs and lows, or my London session highs and lows, or my Asian session highs and lows. It all depends on what pairs I'm trading. Since I'm trading, the U.S. pairs against other currencies, I like to look at I like to look for the U.S. session highs and lows, because the U.S. session, you'll get the most volume, most movement in those sessions. All right, and then if you just hopping on and you don't know what these colors mean, the red candle means that I'm in the U.S. session. The green candles mean that I'm in the London session. The Asian session means that I'm in the yellow candle means that I'm in the Asian session. So those, it's an indicator that I use that color code these candles. That way I know what type of session I'm in. Okay, so since I'm trading U.S. New Zealand dollar against the U.S. dollar, I want to look for the U.S. session highs and lows. I want to draw my zones, my U.S. session high and low zones. Okay, so this is definitely a big zone. I don't like to draw a big zone, so um, if the zone is too big, I like to go down to like one time frame down. So I go to like the 30 minutes, see if it's still big. Still too big. It's still too big. And then the last time frame that I check is the 5 minute. I don't go any lower than that. If it's still too big, then I just draw a horizontal line. So I'm not gonna draw a zone. I'm gonna delete that, and then I'm gonna go back to the 1 hour. And then what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and just get my horizontal line and just um, do it that way. So I'll go to the top of this wick, and then now I have my U.S. session high. All right. And then now I'm looking for my U.S. session low. All right. What was the lowest point of U.S. session? This is the lowest point of U.S. session. All right. So I'm going to draw that, and then I'm going to select my preset. I like to match the colors of the candles of the session. And then boom. And then what I like to do is I like to drag it in the past and see if this zone is strong. Like, am I going to see a reaction off of the zone if price comes back to the zone? So, so far, price look like it's rejecting it. So far, so as you can see, um, we got a rejection here. All right, we got some little small rejections here. We got a rejection here off of the zone. We got another rejection off of the zone. We got a rejection here off of the zone right here. And then we got another rejection right here off of the zone. All right. So as you can see, this strong is this U.S. session low zone is being respected, kind of, you know. It's rejecting these zones, all right? So every time it's above the zone, we're looking for buys. Every time we're below the zone, we're looking for sales. So yeah, that's that with that. So now we got our U.S. session highs and lows, all right? Now, just like Euro futures, right? You want to, again, look at the higher time frames. And, you know, you want to see what the higher time frames are doing. That way, you know, you can trade with the trend. Okay, you can trade with. So the weekly is telling me that we are in a downtrend. We're creating lower highs and lower lows on the weekly chart. All right. The daily is telling me that we are in a downtrend. We're creating lower highs and lower lows. Okay, so we're in a downtrend. So we're in a downtrend on the weekly chart, and we're in a downtrend on the daily. If we go to the 4 hour, we're bullish. All right, we're creating higher highs and higher lows. Now, I will say this right here. You want to go with at least 2 time frames in sync. So what I mean by that is you want to go with 2 time frames that's going in the same direction. All right, and you want to go with that direction. All right, so if the weekly and the daily is telling me that we are in a downtrend, then you want to be looking for sales. All right, you want to look for sales. If the weekly and the daily is telling you that you should be, you know, if you're creating higher highs and higher lows, you want to be buying. So you only want to be looking for buys. Okay, so since the weekly and the daily is telling me that we should be selling, then I'll give you some scenarios that could happen this week. It doesn't mean it's gonna happen because the market could do its own thing, but I'm gonna give you some scenarios of what could happen this week when it comes to trading New Zealand dollar futures. Okay, so since since the weekly and the daily is telling me that we should be selling, you only want to be looking for sales. Okay, since the weekly and the daily is creating lower highs and lower lows, you only want to be looking for sales right now at the moment. All right, things can change. All right, but I'm going to give you some scenarios. So scenario 1. This is scenario 1, guys. Hold on, let me bring this up. This is scenario 1. This is what could happen. Since we're in a downtrend, you can look for sales after the break of this zone here. So once price breaks this zone, right? Wait for the pullback into the zone. and then boom. That's what could happen. That's the first scenario that could happen when it comes to trading New Zealand dollar futures. Okay. Now, the second scenario, price can come all the way up here to the previous U.S. session high, right, and then come down. That's scenario 2. All right. Scenario 3, price could come all the way up here. Maybe we get a liquidity grab right here off of this previous weekly high. All right. And then come down. Those are the scenarios that could happen this week. Basically, when it comes to me executing the trade, I execute the trades on the 5-minute charts. Or I look at the 5 minutes to execute the trade. Now, you might be wondering, like, how do I determine when to get in the trade, off of these zones? Well, I'm going to show you that right now. Okay? I'm going to show you guys right now. So, I like to trade off of the shift of structure or change of character, whatever you want to call it. So, what I mean by that is, well, how can I explain this? So let me see if I can get a good example. Okay, as you can see right now, here's an example, right? So price right now is creating lower lows and lower highs. I'm gonna just make this a little bit bigger here, so I can actually show you guys what I'm talking about. So price is creating lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Price is doing that, right? But once price, once price like breaks the structure, this is not a good example. I really wanted to show you a good example. Like, how can I? Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna try to find a good example for you guys. Maybe I should show you guys. Okay, let's do it like this. Okay, from here, let's start from here, right? We're creating higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? It's not quite a higher low, so but we'll make this the higher low here. So a higher low there, right? And then we're creating, higher highs, higher lows again, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? Now, since we are in a down, remember, I always look at the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour to determine the trend. Okay, so once price get up here, and I know that we are in a downtrend. Once price get up into one of my zones, all right, either the U.S. session highs or lows or my previous weekly highs and lows, I wait for the change of character. I wait for the shift of structure. Okay, so once price come down, once price came down right here and broke this structure here, this previous higher low, now we have a shift of structure. We have a shift of structure and we have a change of character, right? So now I want to look for sales. Okay, now this is not a great example, but because remember, I don't trade during the Asian session. I trade during either London or New York session. But the yellow candle means that we are in the Asian session. So I wouldn't even be trading in this session anyways, but I just wanted to give you an example. My entry is based off of the change of character in this. For example, over here, right, we're creating higher high, right, high low, and then higher high, and then we broke structure here, right? We broke structure here. You can draw fair value gaps. We wait for price to pull back, and then we can look for a trade to get in somewhere up here, or I can wait for a trade off of the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA. I didn't explain this to you, but this yellow line right here that you're seeing and this red line that you're seeing, the yellow line means that this is the 8 EMA. The red line right here means that it's the 21 EMA. You can get in off of the cross. As you can see, once these EMAs cross, then you're going into a downtrend. Okay, you're definitely going into a downtrend. So if my entry was, let me see, my entry will probably be, let me see, my entry probably would have been right here, right? And then what you could do is, if you don't know about fair value gaps, look it up on YouTube. But I also draw my fair value gaps, and then boom, this is my fair value gap. So, you can trade off of this if you want, but you know, that's how I do it. So I look for my fair value gaps, and I look for my breaker blocks. Okay. And another thing too, I also have another indicator down here. All right. So once price gets up into my zone, and then price down here on my MACD indicator right here, this is my MACD indicator. All right. Price is overbought. Okay. Up here, as you can see on this MACD, price is overbought. And then what I like to do is also wait for the blue line and the purple line to cross. Once that cross and it's overbought, and then these lines cross, and price is rejecting my previous weekly high or low, or my previous U.S. session high and low zone, and I get then also I get a 8 EMA and a 21 EMA cross, I'm selling all day. I'm selling. All right. So you could have just got in, you could have got in like somewhere around here, and you could have sold. I would have put this up here. I probably would have put that up here again, because price could come back up into the U.S. session low here. But I will be selling all day there. You can go for, I will probably sell it to the next zone here. You can do whatever. Okay. Boom. Easy win. All right. So that's how I trade. I execute my trades on the 5-minute charts. Okay. That's how I do it. That's how I trade. Now let's go ahead and mark up the Japanese dollar here. If you guys are getting value, let me know in the comment section if you guys are getting value. I'm going to be trading live this week. So if you guys are interested in hopping on my live trading sessions this week, then reach out to me. I'll also add you to my group. But if you guys also want access to my trading bot, my futures trading bot, it's a one-time fee of $500, and it's only $150 per month after that. Okay. So let's go. Let's look at Japanese dollar. Let's mark up this chart here. Let me just clear this out. That way we can have a clean chart. Okay. And okay, so we are in, let's see what type of trend we're in. We are in a downtrend, so we're creating, lower lows, lower high, and then a lower low. So yeah, we're creating lower highs and lower lows. So we are definitely in a downtrend. So what I like to do, boom, right, and then great highs there. The visibility, I don't want to know hour charts. And then we'll draw my lower low. My lower low is down here. Oops, that's not the right one. I'll draw my lower low. Okay. Boom. My lower low. All right, now I got my lower high and my lower low lines on the weekly. Now let's do the same thing for the daily. Now, in order for, like, as you can see, the weekly is creating lower highs and lower lows, right? In order for the weekly to have that pullback or that potential lower high, the daily has to somewhat go bullish, all right, to have that weekly pullback, if that makes sense, okay? But let's draw our line. So we're creating what? We're creating higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. All right. So we are definitely bullish on the daily chart here. So what I like to do is let's mark up our top here. This is going to be our higher high. All right. It's going to be our higher high visibility. We don't want it on the weekly chart. Boom. We do the same thing. Now we look for our higher low. Our higher low point is going to be right here. And then we'll name this the lower low. I mean the higher low. Boom. All right. So now, you know, we got our higher highs and higher low points on the daily. And then we'll also look at the 4 hour and see what type of trend we in. Basically, we're kind of in the uptrend here. So higher high, higher low, higher high. All right, higher high. So we are in a downtrend here. So I already see my points here. My higher high point, my higher high and higher low point. So my higher high is going to be here. At this point, that's going to be my higher high point. The visibility, I don't want it on the day. Boom. Now we got to mark up our little higher low point. Higher low point is going to be right there. All right. Higher low point right there. Boom. All right. So now in this scenario, we have 2 time frames in sync. Weekly is bullish. I mean, bearish. All right. Weekly is bearish. All right. The daily is creating higher highs and higher lows. The 4 hour is creating higher highs and higher lows. Now we have two time frames going in the same direction. Ideally, you want to go with that. You want to go in that direction, but remember, we're having a pullback on the weekly chart. So this could be a potential lower high. Just remember that based on the weekly chart. But let's go ahead and go to the daily. Remember, I like to draw my previous weekly highs and lows. So in this scenario right now, the previous weekly high is this point right here, which is Friday. So I like to draw my zones from the wick to the body. Let me go ahead and click my preset so I can change the color for me. Boom. I like to draw my zones back in the past. That way I can kind of see if this area, if this zone is strong or weak. And as you can see right now, this zone is being rejected. It's being respected majority of the time. As you can see, we have a rejection here off of the zone. Right here, we got a rejection here. All right. We got a rejection here. Right here on this zone right here. All right. We even got a little rejection here. And then once price broke it, this kind of was a rejection here. We got kind of like a rejection here. Price broke the zone again. Right? Price broke it down, and boom, now we're back at this point again. Price could reject this area, and this what could happen right here. Boom. Price could start selling off right here. That's a scenario that don't mean it's gonna happen, but that's what could happen. Because remember, on the weekly, we are at a potential lower high, so just be mindful that the weekly is creating higher highs and higher lows. Now, doesn't mean the weekly is gonna can continue this. What price could do is price could break this lower high point, now creating a higher high point, and then come back, make a pullback, and create a higher low, a potential higher low, and then start going up into an uptrend. That's what price could do. But since we are in a downtrend, we want to go with the trend. So we want to go, something like this. All right. We want to go with the downtrend. All right, with the weekly. But like I said, we just gotta look. Basically, I just watch price and see what it do, and just go with the flow. Just go with the trend. That's what I usually do. But the weekly, it could be potentially creating a potential lower high on the weekly chart. Now, I want to draw my previous weekly low. My previous weekly low. Where What's Monday? Where's Monday at? Right here, Monday candle. So Monday was the low. So I like to get my zone, and then I like to draw my zone from the wick to the body. Now this is kind of big for me, so what I like to do is I like to go a time frame down, which is the 4 hour, since I'm marking up my zones on the daily. So I go to the 4 hour, and I just want to see if can I make this zone a little bit smaller, and yes I can. Boom. Then I go back to the daily, and then I just drag this zone over in the past and see have price been respecting the zone. We got some type of rejection here, so we got a rejection here off of the zone. We got some rejections here, rejection, and then we got a rejection here. As you can see, we got a rejection here and a little small rejections here. Okay, so now we got our weekly highs and lows on our charts, and then I like to go to the 1 hour to draw my U.S. session highs and lows, since I'm trading U.S. pairs. This is the Japanese versus the U.S. dollar futures, and I want to draw my U.S. session highs and lows. Okay, so and then my U.S. session highs and lows start from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So this is the 8 a.m. candle here. So I want to do this here. Draw my zone from the wick to the body, but that zone is a little bit too big. So since I'm on a 1 hour, I'll go one time frame down, 30-minute. See if I can make my zone a little bit smaller. We can, but it's still too big there. Still too big. And the 5-minute chart is the last time frame that I would go down to see if I can make my zone a little bit smaller. But in this case, it's not small at all. So what I'll just go ahead and do, instead of drawing a zone, I'll just go ahead and get my horizontal line and draw my U.S. session low. So my U.S. session low is going to be here. All right, I'll go back to the 1 hour. Yeah, so that's going to be my U.S. session low, and then I'm going to also look for the U.S. session high. Look like the zone is going to be too big. I draw the wick, the zone from the wick to the body. Still too big. Go one time frame down. See if we can make the zone a little bit smaller. We can, but it's still too big. Go down to the 15-minute. Boom. That's going to be my U.S. session high zone. Okay. Yeah. So go back to the 1 hour. Hope you guys are getting some value, guys. I don't know if you guys are getting value, but I'm just showing you the way I draw my charts up, how I trade, It's real simple stuff. So now I got my my U.S. session high and low. Okay, now I'm going to give you some scenarios. I'm going to give you some scenarios here. Okay, so remember, I execute my trades on the 5-minute chart. So this is Japanese yen versus the U.S. dollar. Okay, and futures. All right, so 6J1 stands for Japanese yen. All right, it's going against the dollar. So what you want to do, remember, you want to always check the weekly. What is the weekly doing? What type of trend is the weekly doing? All right, the weekly is in a downtrend. The daily is in an uptrend. All right, the 4 hours is in an uptrend. Okay, so we want to go with the flow. We want to go with the higher time flow. So I'm going to give you some scenarios. Okay, so what the first scenario that could happen on this pair is that price could break these zones here, break the previous weekly high, and also break the previous U.S. session high, right? And then boom, get a pullback, and then continue the uptrend. Because remember, the daily is in an uptrend, guys. All right. The daily is in an uptrend. The 4 hours in an uptrend. But if we look at the daily, another thing that you got to remember too. Right now, the daily is at a high right now. So you don't really want to be buying at the highs. So you want to expect a pullback. All right, you want to expect a pullback here. So what I mean by that, since we're at a high on the daily, you want to expect some type of pullback here. All right, some like maybe something like this is a scenario one. I don't know what's going on with my controller. Okay, there we go. I think I'm still live. Okay, so price could pull back up here and start going up, or price on the daily could make a pullback down here, right, and then make a pullback based on the daily. So when you're on the five, let me clear this now. Those are the scenarios based on the daily. All right, so the daily has to have a pullback. All right, so you want to expect a pullback based on the daily chart. All right, even on the 4 hour, right? Even on the 4 hour, we are at a high right now, so we don't want to be buying at a high. Definitely don't want to be buying at a high on the daily chart. Okay, because if you buy right here, price can come down and make a pullback. Okay, so remember after that, like I said, I like to take my trades based on the 5 minute. So when you have that in mind, when you have the daily could make a pullback in mind, all right, you want to have that in mind. So what price, like I said, so on the 5 minute, this is what could do, this is what could happen. But on the 5 minute, I mean, based on the daily chart, you could expect price, to start either coming down here and rejecting this level here and then go up, or you could expect price to come all the way down here, all right, and go up. Okay, so those are the scenarios that could happen, or another scenario, since we are in a downtrend, basically based on the weekly chart. All right, this area right now. This area right now on the weekly chart, this could be a potential lower high. This could be a potential lower high right here. So price, based on the weekly chart, price could come back down and continue the trend. All right, we're creating, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and then this right here could be that potential. This area right here could be that potential lower high. So price could come down and create a new lower low. So you just got to also keep that in mind. The weekly is bearish, but the daily and the 4 hour is bullish. But you also want to keep the weekly in mind that it's bearish. All right. So like I said, on the 5 minute chart, let me clear this off. On the 5 minute chart, price could come back. Price could come back to this area here, down here, based on the weekly. And, you'll go with the weekly flow, to create that, that potential, that potential lower high or lower low on the weekly. So hope that makes sense. But you want to wait for, like, in order for you to execute the trade on the 5 minute, you want to wait for the strategy. You want to wait for, the change of character. You want to wait for the shift of structure. And then also you want to wait for the, the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA to cross. And then also you want to draw your fair value gaps. And then you also want to draw your breaker blocks, your order blocks and stuff like that. Extra stuff to determine, where you can trade base zones that you could trade off of. And sometimes what I like to do also, let me clear some of this stuff off. If I want to go with the weekly flow, sometimes what I like to do is I like to also draw my Fibonacci retracement. I can draw my Fibonacci retracement tool here, and normally, price likes to reverse off of the 38.2 level, the 61.8, and then price also like to reject the 78.6 and the 88.6. Right now, price is at the 78.6, so this is a reversal level. All right, this is where price could reverse. All right, so yeah, so we could see a rejection. So to be honest with you, I'll definitely be looking for some down movements to the downside, or price could come up here to the 88.6, right, and reject that level and then start going down. Okay, This is the week. Remember, guys, this is weekly. So weekly can take time for this to happen. So since price is at a 78.6, also that's close to an 88.6 Fibonacci retracement level, and the daily is at a high right now. Is at a high, and I know the daily has to make a pullback. Remember, the daily has to make a pullback. All right, can make a pullback here, right? Um, Price can make a pullback here, or price could come down here and make a pullback here. So if the weekly is bearish, we could expect. Remember, price could reject this area, so we could see a downward movement on the weekly, and based on where the daily is at right now, we could see a pullback. So we could start seeing selling, some selling, pressure. Okay, and the same thing with the 4 hour. Now in order for the daily and the weekly to go bearish, the 4 hour definitely has to go bearish. So you might want to wait for price to reject this, to break, or shift the structure on the higher low. So you want to wait for price to close below this higher low right here, this previous higher low, and then now we're in a downtrend on the 4 hour. Okay. So yeah. So I'm just giving you some different scenarios what could happen on the Japanese yen futures. So if you need to come back to this, this video, you can, check out the scenarios. Okay. But like I said, on the 5 minute, I execute the trades, but I don't just take the trade. I wait for a couple of things. All right. I wait for the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA to cross. I draw my fair value gaps. I draw my breaker blocks. I also draw my order blocks, and then I also look to see where price is at on the MACD. If the price is overbought or oversold, that's what I also look at, and then I wait for the cross. For example, right here on the 5 minute, right? Well, let me see on the 5 minute, right? You see down here on the MACD here, price is overbought. All right, so price crossed the purple line, crossed the blue line, and that's where I like to also, add more confluence to my execution. Okay, this is why I'm like, trust me, bro. Like, when you do all of this, when you add your Fibonacci, like when you add everything together, guys, you will be confident. You will be confident, and you will have a higher chance of winning the trade. All right. I got a Fibonacci retracement tool here on the weekly here. I know that the daily is bullish, but I know that it has to make a pullback, right? And then I know that the 4 hour has to go. The 4 hour has to go bearish, so I can wait for a price to come and break the previous higher low to create a lower low, and then on the 1 hour, I have my my U.S. session highs and lows that I can trade off of, and then on the 5 minute, I just wait for the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA to cross, and then also I get a change of character, a shift of structure. It breaks the 50 EMA. The MACD is oversold and overbought. When you combine all of those things, you have a higher chance of winning that trade. Okay, and I've been trading for a while. Like, it just, now it just come to me now. Like, I put all these things I learned. I put all the things together that I learned in the past. Okay. Matter of fact, let me check my let me see. I don't know why it crashed. Let me check my trade here. Okay, cool. I'm winning this trade right now. Yeah, because I also trade binary options. As you can see, I do the same thing when it comes to trading. Binary options. So yeah, we're winning this trade right now. I got in a trade for 150. for FedEx. I'm trading FedEx OTC. OTC stands for over the counter. So, but I trade OTC the same way, guys. I trade it the same way. All right. Now you might be wondering what are these boxes, these colors here. The yellow means that it's the Asian session. The blue stands for that we are in a London session here. And these red zones, remember I told you about these red zones on the chart? These red zones are my previous US session highs and lows. And as you can see, these US session highs and low zones are powerful. You can trade off of these zones. All right. So what I did was, right, I waited for price to break this zone, and I waited for the pullback into the zone. Not only that, we have a fair value gap right here as well. There's a fair value gap right here as well, as you can see. It's a fair value gap right there. And then price came into it and rejected that level there. And also, remember those the yellow lines and the red lines, the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA? Look at this. I got a cross, right? I got the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA cross. I waited for the pullback into the fair value gap and then the zone. And boom, got in the trade up here, and then the rest is history, guys. It's just super, like I'm telling you guys, it's so easy. Once you put this together, what I'm teaching you, showing you, like it's you can trade anything. You can trade, stocks, you can trade futures, you can trade binary options, you can trade crypto, you can trade anything using this strategy, using the way how I'm marking up my charts, okay? But if I go to my chart, okay, I'm gonna show you guys how this box works. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys real quick. So basically, the box is just basically I got it color coded here. That I know that way I can know the highs and lows. All right, and this is what I call the sweep strategy. Now, this is called a sweep strategy. So if price comes up and sweeps the previous session highs, right? So as you can see, we got a sweep right here. Sweep just means that it swept the previous session high, right? Which was this point right here, which is higher than the previous session high. Okay. Once you see that, and then you see a change of character, like you could have got in right here too as well, like a change of character. Once price closed below this area here, then you could have looked for sales, but you could have also got back in too as well. Once price came back up here and create a change character or shift the structure, you could have got in here. Wait for the pull. But I don't want to. I didn't want to show you guys this. I was just checking up on my trade to see if I'm winning or not. I'm still winning this trade. I usually take 4 hour, either 1 hour or 4 hour trades, time frames. But most people when they trade binary options, they try to do 1 second or 1 minute trades, 2 minute trades, 3 minute trades. I don't do that. I don't do that when it comes to trading binary options. Okay? I don't do none of that when it comes to trading binary options. All right? I like to trade binary options. I like to trade binary options when it comes to trading on a 4 hour time frame. All right, let's go back to the charts. So y'all get the picture, right? You put all that thing, if you put all those things together, right? You know the trend of the market. You know that the weekly, the daily, the 4 hours bullish or bearish, and you you draw your zones on the 1 hour. You draw your previous weekly highs and lows on the daily, and you got your 8 EMA, you got the 21 EMA, and you got your MACD. Like if you put all those things together, you'll win a lot more. Okay, you'll win a lot more. All right, so let's look at the Swiss. 6S1 is the Swiss franc, all right, versus the dollar. Again, let's start on the daily. Let me clear things off real quick so I can have a clean chart. So, are we bearish? Are we bullish? Okay, so we are bearish on this chart right here. As you can see, we're creating lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Okay, so we are bearish on the weekly chart. All right, we are bearish. So, we want to draw. I want to draw my lower highs and lower lows lines here. That way I can, know what type of trend I'm in. I mean, you can eyeball it, but I like to draw it on my charts. So that's going to be my lower high point there. And then my lower low point is going to be here. Okay. So I'll just name that the lower low. All right, boom. Now I got my lower high and my lower low. Okay, now I go to the daily. Are we bearish? Let me see. Or are we bullish? So we're creating lower lows, lower high, lower low. We came down and break this previous lower high point here. All right, so let me see. Lower low, lower high, lower low. We broke this point here. We created a higher high point. So yeah, so we're technically bearish on this one because we see a body candle close below here, so we're kind of bearish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my lower low here. Yeah, I'm drawing my lower low there. And then make sure the visibility is off here. I don't want it to show on the weekly. And then this is going to be my lower high. All right. I like to label it. I like to label my points, my lower highs and lower low points. But let me drag this out to see. Okay, yeah, this point right here is low. So here's the thing too. Like I say, I like to use my Fibonacci retracement here. All right. So what I like to do is I like to draw my Fibonacci retracement to the downside. Whenever I see a big, a drastic move to the downside, I like to draw my Fibonacci retracement, and I like to see what area comes to. All right. As you can see, let me move this line up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. As you can see, the price came up, right? So price came down, right? Made a pullback into the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement level. That area right there is that level right there is just basically a reversal zone. So 61.8 level is a reversal zone. The 78.6 is a reversal zone, and then 88.6 is another reversal zone. So price could have came to any one of these levels and rejected it because we're in a downtrend. Okay, and as you can see, price came all the way up to the 78.6, and as you can see, we're seeing price coming to the downside. Okay, and then you might be seeing right here the negative 27%. What I use these points is I use these points as targets. So price came up, came down, pulled back, rejected the 78.6, and then came. So if I'm making a target, right, I'm targeting the negative 27%. That's going to be my TP. That's how I use the Fibonacci retracement. Yeah, I trade OTC. I really don't. I really like trading. The regular pairs. Like, yeah. I mean, I trade. The strategy. My strategy still works on OTC. So, yeah, my strategy definitely works on OTC. Yeah. But yeah. So let's go back to the chart here. So yeah, that's how I use my That's how I use my my Fibonacci retracement tool there. Okay, so delete that, delete this. All right, so we're bearish on the weekly, and then we're bearish on the daily. Now let's go to the 4 hours, see what type of trend we in. Are we in an uptrend or are we in a downtrend? So let's see. Higher high, higher high, higher low, higher high. We're kind of bullish, to be honest with you. So yeah, we're bullish on the 4 hour. So what I like to do is I would count this as a higher low, but it doesn't look good to me. So whatever don't look good to me, then I just don't make that point a higher low or a lower high. So Um, it's my. You might be right, bro. Like, it's my is my charts froze? Let me see. Ah, it is froze. It is froze. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to stop this. I might have to hop back on. I don't know why my chart is froze, bro. I don't know why it's froze.